There's no polymaths no more. We don't want that shit. Did you go to a fancy college like Mike deGrasse Tyson did? Did you? And you focused on a microcosm. That's what they teach you, right? Just focus in your area. There's no polymaths no more. We don't want that shit. Just focus on your thing, and everybody else will focus on their work, like an autistic Spurg that we did that on purpose, by the way.
Compartmentalize it all. Yeah.
Look at Spurgs, dude. Look what they do. They're the perfect. They get real arrogant and they're intelligent. They're like smart-hearted. They're not dumb. They're really good with computers, right? And they like, you can program new genders into them at will with blue light over the internet, right? You could just show them My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and alter their fucking shit forever. They're so useful. And I like trains. They focus on their one thing. Watch Love on the Spectrum. They're like weird about sex, like how, and if you remember Temple Grandin, the chick who famously did a TED Talk about it, she knew she could communicate with cows because she's autistic. Yeah. What is that telling you that we're designing here? You could cock up Star Wars for 3 movies straight, and when you show the preview, they're going to tears of joy come down their face. And then when they see Ashton Forbes, they're going to go, Dad, you're not an authority. Because first and foremost, they respect authority. So don't tell them, and 1 in 32 boys or 1 in 28 are now that. You think that was an accident? You must be a fucking chump. You think that's normal to have that many autistic kids? Is your daughter
absolutely
autistic?
Not? Maybe a touch, but like not.
Was she doing the furry art?
Yeah.
Smart and autistic are not the same.
Right. So she's probably teetering between those two.
Well, she's hanging around with these smart-hearted freaks. Of course, it's going to rub off.
Was she doing furry art, or what was she doing?
No, she's like a really gifted. She took it seriously and was doing every medium that they gave her.
She can talk to people, right?
Yeah.
She's
she's good. She's good.
Don't let her think she is.
Oh, absolutely not. We don't do that stuff in our house.
We don't do
that. We don't do autism. You guess what? You are what you were born as. I've known you the whole time. You're not going to change it. You know what I mean?
And she's cool with that. She doesn't call you like a bigot.
We fought for fucking years.
Yeah.
We had 3 years of war with each other.
Yeah, because you're a bigot.
Because all the kids at school, all the cool kids were doing identity stuff, and she wanted to try it. She wanted to dip a toe in maybe I'm not a girl stuff. And I said,
no way.
And I went through it. I lived through the teenagers.
How old is she now?
She's 17 now.
But it's lucky that you were watching out, because Misha works on Jimmy Dore, goes, if that had happened when I was a kid, I would have gotten some kind of operation.
Well, I said 7 years ago, I said this trans thing is just the goth thing. Kids are going to be fighting with their parents.
And
no,
it's
mom,
fine.
it's who I am.
would have been great with ugly clothes and bad music, but it's like these kids are like trying to get like doctor's appointments and shit.
Art high school is a very specific thing because that's a very impressionable time. I shouldn't say it like that, but art is kind of an adult topic. And I understand that I've been an artist my whole life since I was a little kid.
When you read this, it also talks about concussions. All right.
Oh.
So there's also a part of this that goes, first of all, they admit that they say they were volunteers, but that they experimented on prisoners in Philadelphia prisons. And they also experimented on military personnel. Now, after the drug stuff, they wanted to have a program. And by the way, here it is, the synthesis of analogs for certain central nervous system stimuluses. So this is the mass amount of drugs that they wanted to do for the full populace. Okay? Just want to point that out there. The concussions...
No, wait. A big part of this, was with the Ouija board occult crap, and that goes hand in hand with the drugs.
See, all right, well... In this document, it doesn't get into the occult stuff. So I wanted to get there in a minute.
That's where we get drugs. By the way, now I know in my dumb church growing up, my doomsday cult, why they were like drugs as a form of witchcraft. Because pharmakia, the word, that's what it was. Like, that's being a shaman and going to the astral, all that shit. That's how they took it. But there's a bigger aspect to it, which is the Phoenicians who invented our medicine by poisoning people with snake venom and then harvesting their fluids. The same way we make anti-venom to this day, but they use horses, and like horse fetuses and some creepy, they probably use people too. But anyway, humans are like a medium that you can process stuff in. Even, you don't have to believe any of these silly stories, okay? But even in like abduction kind of stories, there's a really great one from Lynn Buchanan, where he talks about asking this big head gray why they put this tracker in him, and it didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And he goes, oh, no, that's you guys are antibody factories. So, we get space diseases and shit. We put them in this thing and stick them in your body. And then we get antibodies that we harvest. You ever hear anything like that? I never did. But it tracks with where medicine comes from. It comes from some sick fuck snake cults making potions since back in the earliest times. And that's alchemy has to do with that. You're the medium to transform these chemicals. Or if you were ever a cokehead, and like when I used to do cocaine, I liked alcohol with it. So I wasn't really addicted to cocaine. I was into cocaethylene, which is the drug that I made by mixing it in my tummy. That's what this shit is. So there's a list too. I don't know if it's part of MK Often, but I found a long time ago when I first heard of Monarch and kind of dismissed it, but there was a very interesting list of drugs and their effects known to the CIA and what does what. And the one that really stuck out, because later in MK Monarch survivor stories, you hear this all the time, they weren't supposed to smoke weed. For some reason, that would screw up their amnesiac barriers. Coke, A-okay. A lot of coke in that program.
Well, I think that marijuana stimulates, actual not only pleasure centers but creative centers in the brain that they have tried to demonize that drug. I mean, you look at
sativa in particular, I would say does it. I don't like indicas. People like that. Mm-hmm. I don't like sleepy weed. I like because I don't know. I can't do like hard drugs anymore. I'm old. So I like the how people panic on sativa. I like the creativity of it. That's why I smoke all the time. Is that?
So this is in December of 1955 that they decide that they have a proposal for contractors for brain concussions that are always followed by amnesia for the actual moment of the accident, and suggested that if a technique were devised to induce brain concussions without giving either advance warning or causing external physical trauma, the person upon recovery would be unable to recall what had happened to him. Under these conditions, the same technique of producing the concussion would be reused many times.
Electric shocks.
What I'm telling you is, if you keep reading this, they don't even tell you it's more than electroshock. For instance, they say, when the contractor was cleared and informed of our true interests in this research, the whole scope of the project changed, and it became apparent that the development might be expected in the second year, which would make it impossible to operate the program securely under the previous cover. So there's always a cover. Specifically, human experiments of a type not easily justifiable on medical therapeutic grounds that would be involved. So they're trying to induce traumatic brain events without physical trauma to basically create people that assassinate, maybe even commit suicide at some point because they don't know what's going on.
People like a human iPhone that you can put messages on. So there's one carrier pigeon where they were storing data. Candy Jones, that's a famous one, that model from the 50s that was one of the early MK Ultra victims. And then her some guy from radio show was hypnotized her and she turned into a different person because they had installed another personality in her. All that multiple personality shit is real. Yeah.
But then once I started to really look into the amount, we were talking about this just before you got on, and when we look into the amount of money that's spent on advertising and controlling our behavior in innocuous ways, like what to buy, where to go.
It's just a nudge.
It's just a nudge. And most people, like when we watch the news, you brought up CNN, but any news corporation that takes advertising money is guilty of this.
Yes,
those stories are literally paid for.
Yeah.
Company paid to have them do a story about it so they could sell more products. It's not news. It's not meant to inform us. There's I don't know if you've looked into this at all, but there's like a whole tirade of history about the early 1900s when we were trying to prepare an industrious workforce to man the machines of the industrial revolution.
Yeah, it's how we got kindergarten.
Exactly. A lot of the big industrialists, Ford, Rockefeller, they go over to Prussia. They learn
the Prussian system. Yeah,
Prussian method of schooling. And again, this is not a conspiracy. This is just easily confirmable history that nobody wants to Google.
Why do you send your kids at age 5 to a German thing called kindergarten? Well, that's because at age 6, we and Rogan talked about this last time. He didn't go to kindergarten until he was 6. Well, that's too late. See, at 6, you have that third brainwave that lets you discern reality. When you're a little kid, your parents are reality. Whatever your parents tell you is reality.
That's the truth.
Up until an age. So that's why it's 5. And then I always wondered, because I was living in New York when they started going, you got to go to pre-K because the best outcomes are for people who went to pre. I didn't go to that shit. I just went to, my mom taught me to read at home. I went to kindergarten, tested real high. I didn't go to pre-K. What would be the point of that? Well, now your mom's a career gal, or, in New York, and you think your kids are going to get a good school, but 5 isn't even enough. They need to separate you from mommy and daddy early so they can get their dick in your head. That's why. So that way, you won't be loyal to anything above the state. Like the commies, like they say the commies do. That's your government, everyone.
That's the Prussian method. There we go. That's why they want it.
Prussian miracle, I would call it. That's what around the world they came.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't even let you submit that.
When I was in Art Institute, this is like 20. Geez, a long time ago.
Yeah.
When I was at Art Institute, so it's 97, right after these great artists were making this shit. That's a whole bunch of people drawing anime. Like they didn't know how to do life drawing.
Right.
And I'll be like, what the hell is wrong with you? And the
It
teacher's like,
sidesteps the skill of art because you're kind of learning like tracing. You're learning how to like trace the shapes of the anime characters.
Sure.
So you're not actually
You're not
learning
learning
how
the process
to draw.
of rendering an image.
Yes,
and,
correct.
it's the opposite of art. You might as well be writing in school. You're learning a pattern.
It's more like calligraphy than it is actual art, if that makes sense.
Japanese revenge.
They lifted it. They lifted the moratorium on no furry, no anime. And
Who did?
The school.
Yes.
My daughter's school that she
No,
went
I'll
to.
explain why.
And I went the last show that I went to.
It was nothing but anime.
It was, I would say, a quarter.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of it just looked like kids doing their fucking homework, not really inspired. But the furry pieces jump out at you. Those are the kids with the real passion. They're the only kids like trying to do more than get an A.
Yeah, because
What is a furry piece?
in fact,
The
they're
furry piece
sexual
is like,
preference.
it's like I don't say I didn't receive any kind of sexual connotation.
How do you
to
know
it
it's furry?
because it's an anthropomorphized wolf.
Oh,
And
no.
it's like, they're sketching out scenes from like it's all bad photography. Like it's just kids taking pictures of stop signs for the first time.
Are they
you know what I mean?
autistic?
Are they artistic or autistic?
No, they're in high school.
Okay, but furries, I've never met a non-autistic furry.
Oh,
I don't know.
You will
any
never.
furries.
You will never meet a non-autistic
yeah, I think there's
furry.
So those are
it's a
autistic
Venn
kids.
diagram
I think
situation.
it's almost entirely autistic kids, and then the furries are just like, a subsect.
Yeah, I think so
okay.
too. I
Is
think
that
it's the
normal,
middle of the
everyone?
Venn
Does
diagram. So,
All right, we're going. Let's go.
do you play Warhammer too? This is the second
No,
time
but
we've
I've
shouted
never
it out.
played stores all the time.
You take that back, Jenna Sparrow.
I didn't even
I've
say
never
it.
played that
You're
game.
outing yourself.
I have never played with miniatures. I just like to watch the lore on YouTube and 40K Darktide I play on PlayStation 5. And people judge me in my house. I use a couple of gals in my house. Judge me for my Darktide playing. Monterey judges me. And she meditates.
Yeah, I think you spend more hours playing the video game than she spends meditating.
She has spent
In
all
her
day
defense.
meditating. And let me tell you something, chicks that think that's not cool, that I spent that much time on PlayStation that meditate. I'm technically doing more than you. You're just sitting there, bitch. You're just sitting there blanking your mind out.
Okay,
And I'm helping a team of ragtag convicts.
I think
for
they're
the Emperor.
teenagers in other states. I think is probably more
And
likely.
I swear at them like they're adults because and I talk to them like they're adults. And they appreciate it.
It's you and a bunch of sixth graders.
You guys are really cool for your age. Do you ever think about like meeting up?
No, they're not cool. It's a group game. You got to stay together. If you run off, we lose. So, and guess what?
All right, so
Oh, come on.
now we're getting into I told you this wasn't going to go chronologically, so we're actually jumping back in time a little bit because I think fucking hell was 2011, I believe. So now we're jumping back to the precipice of this series that they started in the 1990s,